Hi, my name is Ike. I'm the soul of the Cyclone IKON that's going to be revealed in a few minutes' time. I am the culmination of 35 years of breakthrough innovation and technology. 35 years ago, my spiritual father, Yves Jonge, designed a new generation of cyclotrons that were much more efficient and much more compact. Since then, IBA has not stopped innovating. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for me to reveal myself. I am the new IBA Cyclone IKON.
Hello everyone, I wish you a warm welcome to this exclusive event. I hope you are all doing well behind your screen despite this complicated situation. I'm sure you know how much we would have loved to meet you in person during a live event, but exceptional circumstances call for exceptional measures. And therefore, you will discover the new Cyclone IKON virtually. And we've put every effort to make you spend a pleasant moment with us. We will talk to a panel of experts here on stage. We will make connection with two CEOs of major companies in radiopharmaceuticals distribution. We will connect with IBA headquarters. We will visit the beam factory. We will talk medical application. And anytime during the next hour, you will have the opportunity to comment or ask your questions using the question button of your interface. So I hope you are comfortably seated because we want to take you in a trip into the future. And today it is my great pleasure to host this event together with my colleague Samy Bertrand. He is the product manager for high energy cyclotrons at IBA.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. I feel energized today and I'm very proud to unveil several months of development. The new Cyclone IKON. And here it is, the information that you have all been waiting for. It is a 30 MeV cyclotron. It has been designed not only to accelerate particles or ions, it has also been designed to accelerate your productivity, your versatility, and your profits. It really is an all-in-one solution. You've already met Ike, the soul of the Cyclone IKON. Hello Ike, how are you doing today?
I feel like protons, always positive.
Ike will accompany us through the whole event. Thank you, Ike.
My pleasure. And to be completely honest, I want to keep an eye on what you say about me.
Fair enough, fair enough. In a few moments, we will discover the new Cyclone IKON. But before that, we will briefly connect with IBA headquarters with Bruno Scutnaire, the Vice President of IBA Radiopharma Solutions. Hello, Bruno. How are you today?
Hello. Hello. Hi, everyone. I wish I could be with you on stage today, but COVID situation made it impossible. Anyway, we could find a solution to be with you, so I'm happy to be there.
Thank you, Bruno, for finding a way to be with us today. Bruno, could you please explain why IBA decided to make such a development?
Oh, three words: technology, market, and theranostic. So as you know, at IBA, we've always been at the front of the technology since the beginning when IBA has been created 35 years ago. So for us, it's important to have the state-of-the-art technology on the market. And the market, the second point, the nuclear medicine market is continuously growing. There are more and more demand, and we need to adapt our offer to follow this demand. You know, in the world, there is a strong focus on the cancer. And despite this fact, there are still a large number of patients for whom cancer treatment fails despite advance in science. So today, nuclear medicine is seen as an emerging relevant modality to address this gap, to bring specific solution for diagnostic, but also for therapy. And there we have the third point, theranostic. Theranostic, specific diagnostic, and a new way to have therapy is why we see that we have to enable this revolution. So we must unlock the radioisotope availability on the market, and in this role, the cyclotron must be a reliable and a sustainable production source of isotope for the pharmaceutical industry. There is a strong demand today for isotope like germanium-68, iodine 123, but also copper 64. So to address this market, this demand, to follow the revolution of theranostic, IBA has decided to make a redesign of his first cyclotron, the 30 MeV, the historical product of IBA. And here we are for the Cyclone IKON. It is more compact, more versatile than ever. So in fact, we have been able to develop this machine in 18 months.
Wow, that's impressive 18 months, I think. How is that possible, Bruno?
I said technology. You know, at IBA, we have a team of incredible engineers who are always very excited to make new development and to be at the forefront, to have a leading technology. And then they've worked a lot during the last 18 months, and they've been energized because they like that. And I would like to use this opportunity to thank all the team, the physicists, the designer, the hardware, software engineer, and all the team involved in this development, because 18 months is quite, yes, amazing.
Thank you very much, Bruno, for your participation and for being with us today. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Samy, it is now time to reveal the new Cyclone IKON. We can't wait any longer. Please tell us everything you know about this new cyclotron.
Well, you remember the Cyclone Cube that was launched on the market 5 years ago? It has now demonstrated incredible production capacity in a compact and reliable design. Well, we have taken the very same ingredients when we designed this new Cyclone IKON to make it productive, adaptive, and effective. It is a 30 MeV cyclotron that we have made more compact and more versatile than ever and packed in all-in-one solution. But I think it's better we let Ike present herself. She's been waiting for that for quite a time. So Ike, the floor is yours.
Are you ready to accelerate into the future? Because I am. Hi, I'm Ike. I'm the soul of IBA's new cyclotron, the Cyclone IKON. As the culmination of 35 years of breakthrough innovation and technology, I'm here to show you how I can make you jump into the future. I've been designed to accelerate protons, of course, but also your versatility. Thanks to the large range of features and options I offer. Your productivity, thanks to my high current capacity. Your longevity, thanks to my future-proof technology. And also your profits. Let me tell you precisely what I can do for you. I can produce just about any PET and SPECT isotopes via proton irradiation for standard imaging procedure and theranostics applications. How? With a range of proton energy from 13 to 30 MeV. I deliver the largest energy spectrum in a single cyclotron. I am the only cyclotron providing this feature that will allow you to produce isotopes with the highest purity, not just today, but tomorrow as well. And yet, despite my extended productivity range, I am particularly compact and lightweight. But best of all, with up to 1500 microamps of protons extracted, I don't compromise on power. I know that acquiring a cyclotron is just the first step in a complex process. That's why the IBA team of experts has also designed comprehensive integrated solutions and services. Yes, I come with a complete range of gas, liquid, and solid targets, and processing modules for the extraction and purification of radioisotopes to cover your complete production chain. But that's not all. I am backed by a team of experts that will support you during each step of the setting up of your tailor-made radiopharmacy, from the most compact to the most extended layout, from project definition to routine operation. And because I am aware that tomorrow's radiopharmaceuticals won't be the same as those of today, IBA is committed to supporting you over my entire lifetime. Together, we can expand your business, boost your uptime, and maximize the return on your investment. I am the Cyclone IKON. Productive, adaptive, effective. For today and the future.
Thank you, Ike, and thank you for introducing your outstanding features. We are now installed at this table with three special guests from IBA to discuss more extensively about the new Cyclone IKON. We have Mr. Patrick Verbruggen, Mr. Jean-Michel Geets, and Dr. Cristiana Gameiro. Thanks a lot for being with us today. I would like to address my first question to you, Patrick. You are a particle accelerator expert for more than 22 years at IBA. We've just discovered that the new Cyclone IKON can be tuned between 13 and 30 MeV. How is that unique feature possible?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having invited me to be part of this panel. The answer to your question is technically complex, but I'll try to summarize as follows. Our cyclotron physicists can now accurately do particle tracking simulations in high-resolution magnetic field maps, taking into account at the same time-varying electric fields, space charge effects, and other parameters. This allows to optimize certain critical areas of the accelerator, such as, for example here, the extraction over a wider range of energies than before. And this allows to iterate relatively rapidly to a feasible technical solution.
Well, thank you, Patrick. Jean-Michel, my second question is for you. Why is it so important for the users to be able to select carefully the energy when it comes to radiopharmaceutical production?
Well, it's rather important when you produce a radioisotope to avoid impurities, because at the end you have radiopharmaceuticals that you will inject to the patient, so it should be safe. So some of the radioisotopes are produced at low energy. And so, for example, copper-64 or zirconium-89, emerging PET isotope, are produced around 13 MeV, low range of the Cyclone IKON. But other isotopes, like the germanium-68 for the generator or the iodine-123 for SPECT isotopes, are produced at the 30 MeV range of the Cyclone IKON. So for us, it was important to have a wide range of energy into the same cyclotron, and at the same time, a very high beam current for high yield of radioisotopes.
Thank you. Patrick, what are the other major technological innovations offered by the Cyclone IKON?
The main technical innovations are the new magnet design based on patented technologies we've developed for the Cyclone Cube, and also the internal structure of the Cyclone IKON, such as the spiral inflector in the central region, which are based on the experience we have on our high energy, high current cyclotrons, namely the Cyclone 70. They all leverage basically on the experience of our engineers and physicists. This allows to have a high beam capacity. The Cyclone IKON has a beam capability of 1500 microamps.
What were the major challenges faced during the development of the new Cyclone IKON? How is it possible to keep such a highly powerful machine in such a compact design?
The main challenges when designing a new accelerator is all about making the right choices. Understanding and combining the requirements of all the stakeholders, and then making the technical choices in our broad technical portfolio, hardware portfolio. Or we decide to redesign from scratch certain particularities. First of all, when you redesign with compactness in mind, we've made a magnet which is much smaller in size, allowing to install in smaller facilities, smaller volts. And secondly, the high current capacity is ensured by keeping a large vertical gap in the magnet yoke, ensuring adequate clearance for the beam, and also giving a good vacuum conductance to minimize the internal beam losses.
And concretely, how small is the new Cyclone IKON compared to its predecessor?
Well, that's something we may ask Ike.
My footprint has been reduced by 20% compared to my predecessor. I am a cube with sides of 2.2 meters in length, and even more impressive, my weight has been reduced by 45%.
Well, indeed, we worked a lot in reducing the cyclotron height. If you take my size, I'm 193. The previous version of the Cyclone 30 was 10 centimeters above me. If you take now the Cyclone IKON, it's at 146, which is about this high. Those are important requirements if you want to do installation in refurbished cyclotron vaults, and also if you want to reduce the installation costs for our users.
Well, thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Ike, for those enlightening explanations. We will now make a live connection with Renaud Dehareng, the CEO of Curium Pharma, a world-leading provider of radiopharmaceuticals. Good afternoon, Mr. Dehareng, and thanks for being with us today.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be with you.
Mr. Dehareng, a few months ago, Curium Pharma decided to acquire a new Cyclone IKON. Could you please explain to us why Curium Pharma made that choice?
Yeah, sure. And to be honest, that was a kind of a no-brainer decision. But really two things I would summarize. One is actually IBA itself and the team. IBA is a trusted partner for a lot of time actually with Curium. We have got actually tens of cyclotrons that we all either acquired from IBA and we are still maintaining actually with IBA. That trust actually goes beyond the companies. It's personal. It's also personal. We've been working with IBA leadership for a while. These are people that I personally deeply trust as well. Other points actually that are qualifying IBA is, I would say, expertise. Clearly, worldwide recognized expertise. Whether it's actually on maintaining our machines or actually helping us solving complex problems with the older machines. That the fee of IBA has been also actually extremely helpful to us in the past. So I would say one point driving the decision has been working with actually IBA itself as a trusted partner. On the other side, the machine is outstanding. When we put a product on the market, our clients are actually required the highest level of reliability. So that's parameter number one, point number one, when we qualify and analyze actually the machines and the cyclotron that we buy. And clearly this machine has demonstrated actually, as well as the past IBA cyclotron, high reliability, super high reliability as a matter of fact. Second point is capacity. We are a commercial player. We try actually to put on the market and to get, as we will probably talk about it in a bit of time, but we are getting into a market that requires quite a lot of activity, and so getting the right capacity into the machine we buy is truly important to us. Cost is obviously an important matter. Time to market, extremely important to us. Between the time we basically launch a project and the time we go to market alongside the clinical trials that we are actually executing, we are looking for the shortest time to market, and then the support, as I was saying before. Since we are actually producing 6 days a week, 7 days a week, actually in some cases, it's extremely important that we have a reactive, proactive partner that actually help us maintaining preventive maintenance, but also actually problem solving on the machine. So all those points has been weighing a lot on our decision to choose actually IBA and this cyclotron for moving forward in the US.
Okay, great. Could you develop a bit about the production plans that you have with this new Cyclone IKON?
Yeah, actually, a few years ago, we looked at actually a number of new molecules and compounds to be developed for, especially in this case, the US market. And we had actually the opportunity to in-license a new copper-64 compound product, so copper-64 dotatate for the diagnosis of neuroendocrine tumors, which we have developed actually with our partner in Houston, Radiomedics. And so it became clear to us actually quite rapidly that copper-64 being a PET compound is actually a really attractive molecule from a commercial standpoint. First, because actually of reliability, since it is centrally produced for the whole United States. So with the 12-hour half-life of copper, we are able actually to reach all PET sites in the US from one central production center in St. Louis. And since we have one production center, actually we have one team to be trained, one set of equipment, versus actually F-18, which requires probably 30 to 40 PET sites across the United States. So one copper 64 is really attractive for its reliability. Clearly attractive from a capacity standpoint, we just talked about it with this machine, but also from a cost standpoint. Since we centrally manufacture copper 64, we have actually a team of about 20 people required to actually serve the entire US market 7 days a week, versus actually, once again, if you were to do the same thing with F-18, 40 sites at about 10% per site, so 400 people. So from a cost standpoint, copper 64 is extremely attractive. So clearly now Curium is moving ahead with actually a copper 64 platform. The first step has been the development of a copper 64 compound for neuroendocrine tumors. We are currently actually developing, we just started phase 2 and 3 for a copper 64 PSMA compound, so for the diagnosis of prostate cancer, which we will launch actually in a couple of years. And from there, we are currently actually looking at actually a number of other indications using copper 64 as the isotope. So our intention is to move gradually the PET market into the copper 64 platform. Once we are done with the US, we are now implementing, actually rolling out the technology in Europe, and we are currently establishing actually our infrastructure in China and Japan in order to actually bring this isotope to those markets as well. Copper 64 is particularly suited for Asia, especially China, since once again, with one actually production center, you could really 3/4 or more of all of the PET sites within China. So allowing you to basically reach the Chinese market, not building actually tens of F-18 center, but building one copper 64 platform over there. So clearly in our way and trajectory into developing more and more theranostic products, so diagnosis and therapy, copper 64 will play a very important role. The key, though, in copper 64 is actually to be able to produce it in sufficient quantity, and reliability, which we have demonstrated now, but certainly also to get the relevant clinical data for filing and getting marketing authorization of those compounds. And so Curium is now moving actually on the basis of the platform we have built in St. Louis. We are now moving fast into substantial investment into clinical trials to bring more and more copper 64 compound to the market.
Well, thank you for those explanations. I think it's a quite exceptional fact that a supplier bases a business plan completely on copper 64. Could you also explain a bit the market and your vision on it, and what are the evolutions that you envisage for this market?
Well, yeah, so we see actually, so clearly, personalized medicine is moving ahead. Clearly, nuclear medicine is front and center to be able to deliver personalized medicine. We now, as a radiopharmaceutical company, are probably the biggest actually pharmaceutical company in the world, focus our work on developing actually diagnosis compound together with therapeutic compound going together. So I clearly see that this will continue to evolve into oncology. The first focus was on neuroendocrine tumors, with actually a couple between copper 64.8 and lutetium.8. We are now moving on into the prostate segment, and actually will continue to develop indication, diagnosis, and therapy on a number of new indications. Always also with the same look at first United States and FDA approval, and then Europe, and then Asia. From a diagnostic standpoint, I do think that F-18 is a great compound from an image quality standpoint, but will be at a disadvantage to copper because of its reliability, capacity, and cost. So clearly, from a diagnostic standpoint, I see copper moving moving and having a long way in front of it.
Well, thanks a lot, Renaud Dehareng. Thanks a lot for sharing your experience with us and for your trust in IBA.
Thank you very much to all.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Jean-Michel, you are the team leader of the radiopharmacy integration team, the IntegraLab team. Mr. Dehareng just shared his experience with us about integration and the experience of IBA. Could you please explain us what is the role of the IntegraLab team and what is its mission?
Yes, so IntegraLab team is the team that will take care of the integration of the cyclotron and the auxiliaries equipment, whether it's target, hot cell, chemistry system, quality control, into GMP pharmaceutical layout. So not only the cyclotron itself, but all the equipment which is related to the production of the radiopharmaceuticals. So from this, with the team of designers, we will discuss with the end user and we will propose a layout with all this equipment. When this layout is approved, then we can provide or we can offer the basic design or the principal design that is related to this layout to help the local engineering company that will finalize and that will build the building. And so later on, we can come to this building and install the Cyclone IKON and all the auxiliary system that is packaged into this IntegraLab offer.
Jean-Michel, there are so many radioisotopes that can be produced with the Cyclone IKON. Gallium-68, germanium-68, zirconium-89, copper-64, thallium-201, indium-111. Could you please tell us what does actually IBA proposes for the production of those radioisotopes?
Well, we would like to have IBA as a one-stop shopping solution. So not only the cyclotrons and the target, which is obvious, but as well all the processing equipment which is around. And
yes, absolutely. We do propose the electroplating systems to prepare the targets and also the post-processing system to obtain the purified radiometal that can be used for further labeling.
So there we cover the germanium-68, which is of course quite important, but as well as other isotopes, as Renaud Dehareng said, copper-64, of course, it's one of the emerging radioisotope. And we also offer gas target technology for iodine-123, the famous SPECT isotope. So again, it's a one-stop shopping solution, a package.
Well, thank you, Jean-Michel, and thank you, Cristiana, for those explanations. It is now time to make another live connection with another future Cyclone IKON user, Erich Kollegger, the CEO of IRE, the Institute of Radio Elements in Belgium. Hello, Morgan.
Hello everyone, I'm here today in front of IRE, the Institute of Radio Element based in the rainy Belgium. IRE is well known for the supply and production of radioisotope worldwide. IRE is a major player in the nuclear medicine market, and this year they are celebrating their 50th anniversary. The IRE is well known for the supply of iodine-131 and molybdenum-99, but soon they will be able to increase the production capabilities with a new radioisotope, with the very first Cyclone IKON. Come on, let's meet Mr. Kollegger. Erich, as IRE CEO, could you tell us a bit more about this project?
The Cyclone IKON will enable IRE to produce germanium-68. As you know, germanium-68 is the mother isotope for gallium-68, and IRE Elite has been producing generators for gallium-68 for several years now. Gallium-68 is a key isotope for the imaging of patients in the theranostics now. So the goal of the project is twofold. The first is to produce germanium-68 to control the whole supply chain of our gallium-68 generators. The second is to be in a position to diversify our research activities by producing new radioisotopes for novel applications.
And could you tell us a bit more why you chose IBA and the Cyclone IKON?
Well, IBA won the public tender that IRE had launched for the purchase of a high-activity cyclotron. But we are very happy that IBA got the contract because IBA has the most compact and efficient high-activity cyclotron on the market today. And besides, IBA is internationally recognized for the reliability of its equipment. And for us, with the necessity to run batches over several days, it is key for us that the uptime of the cyclotron and the service of IBA allows us a robust supply chain.
Thank you very much, Erich, for taking the time to be with us today.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, Morgan, and thank you, Erich, for sharing this exciting project with us today. We are now installed in a more cozy space together with Dr. Cristiana Gameiro. Cristiana, you are product manager at IBA for many years now, right? But most of all, you are passionate about clinical applications related to radiotheranostics. And this is exactly the topic I would like to cover now. We've mentioned earlier that the Cyclone IKON will unlock theranostics and other clinical application capabilities. Could you please develop that point?
Oh, Rebecca, there's a lot of things going in that space, actually. A lot of things I could say, but I don't have a lot of time, so I will not be exhaustive here. So actually, radiometals has been out there, so I'm going to focus on that for many, many years now. You can find publications on copper 864, 8SM, for example, dating from the 2000s. And today, we have an approved copper dotatate looking at somatostatin receptors for neuroendocrine tumors, DetectNet, and there is a lot more to come with copper. I like very much copper sartate platform, looking at neuroendocrine tumors again, meningiomas, and I study that I'm very fond of is neuroblastoma for children, a very aggressive cancer in children. So there is a pediatric trial ongoing for the moment with the theranostic pair copper 64 and copper 67. There will be more for copper, of course, copper PSMA for prostate cancer coming. 2 trials to start, the Propeller and the Secure trial, so I'm expecting this to come this year already. And many more if you look at clinical.gov, many more trials. And one that I'm very excited about, very nice science, it's the copper bombazine analogs, looking at the antagonists for many other cancer applications. So maybe one copper approved today, but I'm expecting to see much, much more to come.
It is true that there is a real momentum for copper 64 and copper 67. It was highlighted also during the intervention of Renaud Dehareng regarding the Curium Pharma project as well. So that's interesting. But there are also other isotopes of interest in that field. For example, what about zirconium-89?
Oh, very exciting science in zirconium-89, actually. Zirconium-89, when you think about it, I immediately think about immunoPET imaging. Zirconium-89 half-life is compatible with the pharmacokinetics of monoclonal antibodies. So you can label monoclonal antibody takes sometimes weeks to reach the target. So long-lived is important. So there's a lot of studies where you label monoclonal antibodies or antibodies with zirconium-89 to select patients for therapies, target therapies where use antibodies like trastuzumab, histuximab, cetuximab. So these trials are mainly coming from the Netherlands group, actually, in Groningen and also in Amsterdam. We have also recently, for example, the use of zirconium labeled antibodies for immunocheckpoint inhibitor therapy. That therapy is very innovative, very efficient, but only 20 to 30% of patients. So it's very important to be able to select the patients. And not only monoclonal antibodies, we also have studies with zirconium-89 mini-bodies. And in these mini-bodies are looking at T-cell populations in immunotherapy prior to the treatment and to monitor the treatment. So very exciting science in the area. But of course, we cannot forget the radiotheranostics pair of zirconium-89 and lutetium 177 in the Zircon trial, phase 3, a multi-center prospective trial in phase 3. I hope to see these results pretty soon, actually, and we will see an approved, hopefully, a drug for zirconium-89 soon in that area. So a lot of excitement. I hope to see approved drugs to give access to more patients.
Right. And now, last but not least, let's talk about the gallium-68 paired with lutetium-177, another blockbuster pair of the past few years. Could you please explain why is there such an interest for these isotopes?
A lot of excitement gallium-68, as you said. Last but not least, gallium-68, if you go to clinical.gov and you just press 68 gallium, you get 400 hits in clinical trials, okay? So among the clinical trials, starting to enroll to be completed, more or less active trials, we have 240 trials active, so a lot of excitement. Of course, we cannot forget the approved drugs, the DOTANOC and the DOTATATE, NetSpot and SomaKit, which makes the pair with the Lutater, which is very successful. We have seen the recent approval of gallium PSMA, obviously, for prostate cancer patients in 2 academic centers in the US by the FDA. So we expect imminent approval of code kits in Europe and the US. So I hope to see that approval coming, really to give more access to patients to this very sensitive and a specific tool. And by the way, that was the topic of our IBA webinar about the gallium PSMA, remember that? So a lot of things on gallium, not only the prostate cancer, there's the gallium FAPI, you know, fibroblast activation protein inhibitors. That was the image of the year, the SNMMI in 2019, a pan-cancer tracer. So a lot of things to come for that FAPI thing, but many, many other indications. And the studies that I'm fond of, and as I said before, the bone benzene analogs, you know, looking at many different traces like breast cancer or gliomas, etc. You have the MR2 or you have the theranostic pair neobomb in phase 1, phase 2. So a lot of things in gallium already, a lot of things we would like to see approved to give better access to to benefit patients.
Thank you very much, Cristiana, for this very interesting overview of the future landscape of nuclear oncology. We will now make a final connection with our second reporter of the day, Mathieu Lemercier, in direct from the IBA Beam Factory. He will explain us how cyclotrons are developed and produced at IBA.
Welcome at the Beam Factory. We are here at the heart of the IBA campus, based in Louvain-la-Neuve, at few kilometers south of Brussels in Belgium. It's here that most of the IBA cyclotrons are assembled, tested and prepared before to shipment to our users. But in practice, how are those extraordinary machines designed, developed and optimized? That's what we will discover together. Follow me. Hello, Erich Avalanche.
Hello, Mathieu.
You are at the head of the manufacturing here at IBA. Could you please share with us some key elements of the Beam Factory?
Yes, sure. So IBA campus is composed of 6 different buildings. The last one is the Beam Factory, where we stand right now. It's a high-tech building equipped with the latest production equipment while keeping a high environmental efficiency. For example, we are able to recover the energy coming from the accelerators under test and use it to heat the offices. Another key element is, of course, the possibility we have to use our crane, internal crane, to do what we call internal rigging. We are able to take the accelerator directly from the truck to the zone where it will be assembled or tested.
Great, thank you. Let's move now to the production area. How is the cyclotron production organized at IBA?
So at IBA we have about 4,000 square meters dedicated to accelerator production. For all accelerators, including the new Cyclone IKON, the production is composed of 2 phases. The first phase is the assembly phase, where we assemble the different surroundings of the accelerators and different subcomponents on it. At the end of this first phase, we enter into the second phase, which is the testing phase. For this test, either we do them on surface, in this location for example, or in a bunker for radiation protection reason. At the end of the test, we have a specific board that is checking, verifying the different steps, assembly steps and testing steps. They are verifying that these steps are correctly completed and they give their go for the shipment of the accelerator to the customer site.
To define the DNA of the machine, we selected the feature that best meets the needs of our customers, to include them in the user requirement specifications. Physicists and experts from our innovation and development department defined the architecture and the concept of the machine, thus defining the structure of the subsystems. Each subsystems and its integration are then reviewed to ensure they are compliant and they meet the defined characteristics. Let's now move to the famous Cyclone Cube area. This is the Cyclone Cube, designed by IBA a few years ago. Its unrivaled technology makes it the leader on the PET market. That's why we decided to capitalize on that new technology and transpose it to the new Cyclone IKON, applying the same form factor on the magnet system. As you can see, IBA is always at the forefront of the technology, and it's not ready to stop.
We are now back to the panelist table for the Q&A session. So it is now the right time to type your questions using the question tab of your platform, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. I have a very first interesting question arrived already, and I think I'm going to ask Samy to answer it. It is about operational aspects. What is the uptime of this new Cyclone IKON, and what about the maintenance?
Well, based on annual user survey that we are performing, the average uptime on IBA Cyclotron install base is more than 98%, and it's also the case for the Cyclone Cube install base. So this demonstrates perfectly the robustness and reliability of our cyclotrons, even when new technologies are being implemented. Now for the maintenance. The two major maintenance that are performed on the Cyclone IKON are the ion source and the stripper maintenance, and each of them can be performed in a very short time. Typically less than 30 minutes for the ion source and less than 5 minutes for the strippers. The Cyclone IKON has also been designed to reduce at a maximum the exposure to radiation for the operators. Now we also offer a large range of service level agreements that can include preventive and corrective maintenance with the possibility of a warranty of departure of the engineer, 24/7 remote support by qualified cyclotron engineers, as well as spare parts.
Thank you, Samy. We also have Cyclone 30 users asking for their customer services. What can we answer?
Well, I think it's important to mention here that IBA has a dedicated team who is devoted to the management of install base. So we will always provide new upgrades, manage the spare part obsolescence, and keep on managing the knowledge on this install base. So we even have cyclotrons that are more than 30 years into operation, and we keep providing services for them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Samy. I have another question arriving here about the facility. What kind of building layout should be implemented with the Cyclone IKON? I think, Jean-Michel, could you please answer that one?
Yes, obviously. So within Integralab, of course, we'll work with the end user to customize the design of the facility. So it can go from a very simple single vault to save space to a complex facility with 4 target vaults to optimize operation. And so it's really a tailor-made design depending on the scope of the customer and the goal of the end user.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. The next one is very interesting as well. I think it's for you again, Jean-Michel. What about environmental considerations?
Well, in cyclotron business, we have 2 major issues, I would say. One is the activation of the cyclotron itself. And so let's think of the next 30 or 40 years of operation when we have to dispose the machine. So IKE, or the Cyclone IKON, is made smaller, so we'll have less steel or less magnet to recycle or to dispose. But second issue is the natural activation of the structure of the concrete around the target, for example. And there we have been working at IBA to provide a solution for low activation concrete to reduce the level, of course, of activated concrete, but also the weight that will be disposed at the end of the lifetime of the facility. And on top of that, we have to say that within IBA we have a corporate vision to work towards reduction of our footprint, whether it's our operation, whether it's our equipment, or the waste of the operation. So it's a global issue for us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jean-Michel. Another question here arriving, it's about future application. We can address that to Cristiana. Iodine 1 through 3 and others like gallium-67, thallium-201, indium-111 are radioisotopes that can be produced with a Cyclone IKON. What do you expect in terms of future applications?
Well, as I said before, I was not exhaustive, so I could not cover all of them. So thank you for that question. Iodine 123 is the oldest theranostic pair with iodine 131 for thyroid cancer, so this will stay mainstream. We have also iodine 23 approved with MIBG for neuroblastoma. There are other studies for other indications. Also, they use for myocardial scintigraphy in some countries. There is also the ioflupane. You have the patent that was off, so ioflupane is used with iodine 123 for Parkinson's disease. So with that patent off, we have many other players commercializing ioflupane, so you see a lot of that on the market as well. So I don't see that iodine going away anytime soon. And actually, why not iodine 123 auger electron therapy? So for gallium-67, it's a little different. The gallium-67 citrate is approved for chronic diseases and from lymphomas. I've seen trials on gallium-68 citrate, maybe some replacement there. Thallium-201 is still used in Europe for myocardial scintigraphy. So it's still staying there for some time because it will not disappear like that. And finally, indium-111. So you have the indium-111 octyl strand that has been used for neuroendocrine tumors, but that one has been replaced by gallium-68 DOTA-TOC and DOTA-TATE. But on the other hand, there are new applications for indium now. You see many trials, many studies for the moment, and a few trials is starting with indium as surrogate companion diagnostic for actinium-225. So looking at the selection of patients and biodistribution. So a renaissance of indium there, I don't know, difficult to say, but we have to monitor that.
Thank you, Cristiana. Our next question we have here, maybe Patrick could answer that one. Does the Cyclone IKON accelerate deuterons and alpha?
Well, the Cyclone IKON has been carefully optimized to accelerate protons and will most probably remain a proton-only machine. However, IBA still propose the Cyclone 30XP for multi-particle solutions, namely protons, deuterons, and alphas.
Thank you, Patrick. Let's take a very last question because we would not have time to take some more. Is it possible to use the Cyclone IKON for other application than radioisotopes production?
Well, yes, of course. IBA's design team can do custom optimizations for certain beam optics or certain user-specific applications. We already did that for an integration of a custom target into one of our accelerator systems, namely for neutron production, for material sciences, but also for therapeutic applications, namely the boron neutron capture therapy. So yeah, it's always a good challenge for the team to have something new to design and to develop. Ike, do you have anything to add?
IBA has not programmed me to answer such a question. Please ask my colleague, Alexa.
Well, time flies, and unfortunately, we will not be able to answer all the numerous questions arriving on the platform today. But no worries, we will take the time in the coming days to answer all the questions by emails. Thank you very much for your interest, and thank you very much to all the panelists for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I also take the opportunity to invite you to visit our virtual booth of the SNMMI annual meeting starting tomorrow. So stop by and we'll be happy for a quick chat.
All good things must come to an end, and we hope that you have enjoyed this moment as much as we did. On the behalf of the whole IBA team, we thank you. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for your interest in our cyclotrons. Let's also thank Ike for being with us today and showing us what she's capable of.
It was my pleasure to finally be revealed to the world. This is just the starting point of a new journey.
Right. And as you know, IBA never stops innovating. And we want to share with you an exclusive news. In the coming months, IBA will be introducing 2 major new innovations. in fields you do not expect IBA to be in. So if you don't want to miss this big announcement, make sure to follow us on social media. Samy, it was a real pleasure co-hosting this event with you today. Thank you to all of you behind your screen for your interest, and we do really look forward to meeting you soon in person. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye. A cyclone of technology.
Hey Ike, was I good?
You totally rocked, bro.